India win a toss. Rohit and Kohli continue to boss. Jaiswal arrives. Kuldeep continues to thrive. And all of that combines to ensure India don't lose both the Test and ODI series of a tour at home for the first time in nearly 40 years. Here's what stood out in the third ODI between India and South Africa at Visakhapatnam, and a look at some of the talking points from the series. At 167 for 2 after 28 overs, the platform was set for South Africa to post what would have been the third straight total in the range of 350 in this series. But then Breedska and Markram fell in the 29th over. Quinton de Kock, who was so well set, got to his 100, and then he fell to Prasidh Krishna as well. And a few overs later, Brevis and Janssen, who were stitching another good partnership, fell in the same over, perhaps guilty of over-attacking Kuldeep Yadav. This was all with more than 10 overs still left to play. And it's almost cruel because it is the middle order who had very nearly taken South Africa over the line in Ranchi and then done the job for South Africa along with Markram in Raipur. But over here, losing wickets in those clusters the way they did between overs 28 and 39 just derailed South Africa, and they weren't in the game after that. Wickets through the middle overs, they're worth their weight in gold in ODIs. Kuldeep Yadav knows that all too well. He delivered the double strike in the 34th over in Ranchi, getting Janssen and Breedska to break the game for India. And he did that again. The 39th over this time, getting Janssen and Brevis, and that effectively ended South Africa's hopes of posting a challenging total. Kuldeep later went on to get his 11th haul of 4 or more wickets in ODIs. He's behind only Shami and Agarkar now among Indians in this format. But there was also a lot of middle overs wickets for Prasidh Krishna. He had the earlier double strike to start the slide for South Africa with the wickets of Breedska and Markram, followed up with the wicket of Quinton de Kock. And the jury may be out on Prasidh Krishna because you look at his statistics, your eyes will go to the economy rate. It doesn't read too well, but he also has a great strike rate. And that is what is going to keep him relevant in the Indian ODI scheme of things, because the ability to break the game in the middle overs is paramount in this format. Chances don't come easy as a batter in Indian white ball cricket, and Yashasvi Jaiswal already knows that all too well. He would have been feeling some heat going into this game. Shubman Gill is fit again. Ruturaj Gaikwad hit 100 in the last game, and Jaiswal himself had disappointing returns from the first 2 games, and he took his time. He was especially cautious against the threat of Marco Janssen, who's been a menace for him throughout this tour, and he took 75 balls to get to 50. He scored test 50s, which have been faster than that. But from there, he came into his own, was particularly severe against Lungi and Gidi and Otniel Bartman. Eventually took just 36 balls to bring up his second 50, which gave him his first ODI 100 and made him the 6th Indian man to have 100 in all 3 formats. And this is only 2.5 years into his career. He's the youngest out of all the Indians who have achieved that accomplishment. But most importantly, he's given himself some breathing room and kept himself in the running for the New Zealand ODIs next month. Did you really think their places were in doubt? Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli continue to bat like the all-time ODI greats they are. There might have been questions around how much or how easily they will get back into the format now as one format players, but that has been dispelled in these last 2 series. Rohit and Kohli, between them in 12 innings against Australia and South Africa over the last month and a half, have 8 scores of 50 plus. If the Australia 3-match ODI series was a statement from Rohit Sharma, who was player of the series there, this was quite the statement from Virat Kohli. 200s in the 3 games, yes, but 12 sixes. Never previously had he hit 10 sixes in any ODI series or tournament that he's featured in. So you can almost argue that if anyone's saying they're turning back the clock, they really aren't, because Kohli showed gears in his ODI batting in this series that he perhaps never has previously. So that is a great sign. Rohit Sharma with 450 plus scores in the 6 games against Australia and South Africa. And he also won a fielding award in the last game here. So form, fitness, fire, there's no doubt. Win the toss, win the game. That has been one of ODI cricket's bigger concerns, especially when it's played in conditions where dew is likely to play a big part. And those concerns stand well amplified with the new regulations kicking in with the use of 1 ball after the first 34 overs. On the evidence of these 3 games, when you're batting first, it can be a little more challenging to hit in the last 16 overs with a softer ball at play. And if you're bowling second, a soaked ball is that much more challenging for bowlers to handle, and you can see that in the numbers from this series. In these 3 games, batting first, the last 16 overs saw a scoring rate below 7 despite great platforms, and batting second, the scoring rate was nearly 8.5. It's early days and you'd want a bigger sample of games with these new regulations kicking in, but it could be a challenge for ODI cricket.